Okay, here's a question for you. What if there's a fundamental pattern, like a hidden algorithm running in your mind right now? Something that dictates how you respond to basically everything. Moral dilemmas, moments of just pure inspiration. And here's where it gets really interesting. What if that exact same pattern pops up in places like software debugging, Buddhist philosophy, even how birds fly? Welcome to the deep dive. This is where we dive into sources, pull out the really important bits of knowledge and insight, basically giving you a shortcut to being well-informed. Today, we're doing a deep dive into something called the pattern of being. It's a concept that honestly could really reshape how you see things, how you interact with reality. Our mission for this dive, we're unpacking this philosophical fragment. It looks simple on the surface, maybe a bit deceptive, but once you start digging, wow, there's incredible depth there. By the end, you should have this like new lens, something to help navigate relationships, creative work, maybe even understand yourself a bit better. So let's get into this core idea. It starts with this principle. It's almost like a mantra our source material lays out. If it's wrong, make it right. If it's different, make it right. If it's inspiring, thank it. If it's simple, make life lighter. Now, first hearing that, you might just think, okay, yeah, sounds nice, positive. But the real insight starts when you do what the sources call conceptual dissolution, which basically means, carefully taking it apart piece by piece. And that's when you start seeing some, pretty remarkable things about our own unconscious biases. One of the first things that kind of jumps out is, it's subtle but important, is that repetition. Wrong shows up twice right at the start. Is that just like clumsy wording? Or is there something deeper going on there? Yeah. And the other thing that hit me straight away was how different automatically gets lumped in with things that need to be made right. Just think about that for a second. When did being different become the same as being wrong? Really interesting bias, isn't it?
It absolutely is. And what's really fascinating, I think, is how that starting mantra, when you apply this conceptual dissolution, it just immediately lays bare these fundamental categories we use, often instinctively, how we process experiences. You've got different kinds of judgment and response baked right in. So first, there's the obvious moral judgment, that clear right versus wrong in an ethical way. Then you've got what you could call ontological variation, recognizing something is just different from what you expect, maybe. Not necessarily wrong or flawed. It's about a difference in being.
A difference in being, yeah.
Not a defect.
Exactly. And we also see clear emotional responses built in. That feeling of being inspired versus something, mundane, neutral. And finally, there's this idea of existential weight, the contrast between something feeling simple, light, versus complex and heavy. Our minds are just constantly sorting experiences into these kinds of buckets, often totally beneath our conscious radar. That's such a common thing, right? That impulse. I know I've definitely caught myself trying to fix something just because it wasn't how I would do it, not because it was actually broken. When you talk about this initial processing, do you think most people are even aware they're doing it? Or is it mostly subconscious?
Oh, largely subconscious. I mean, our brains are incredibly efficient. They're pattern matching machines, essentially. If something deviates from a pattern we know, the brain's quickest route is often to flag it, mark it as wrong or needs correction, even if just different is a much better fit. It saves mental energy, right? But it can definitely lead us down the wrong path sometimes.
Exactly, yeah. And this whole idea, recognizing these subtle differences in how we judge things, it leads right into how these patterns aren't just in our heads, they're mirrored out there in the world. Yeah. This is where it gets kind of wild, actually. When you start mapping these human responses, these categories, across totally different fields, you see the same underlying pattern everywhere. It's like finding the same blueprint written into, I don't know, the fabric of reality or something.
Yeah, and if we connect that to the bigger picture, it shows us what we could maybe call neural bridges, how our brains link information and guide what we do. So take the idea of encountering something inspiring. What's that immediate, almost involuntary reaction?
Yeah.
You feel gratitude, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Well, that's not just some nice emotion we decide to feel. That's actually your brain's dopaminergic reward system lighting up. Think of dopamine as like the brain's feel-good chemical.
Right.
Reward motivation. When you see beauty or feel awe, something that really resonates, your brain gets a little hit of dopamine. It's basically saying, yes, more of this, please. It's a powerful neurological signal. It encourages you to seek out and appreciate those kinds of experiences. So gratitude isn't just polite. It's hardwired. It's beneficial.
Hardwired gratitude. I like that.
And then think about simple makes life lighter, that principle. It also shows up all over the place. In Zen Buddhism, for example, simplicity, reducing clutter, attachment. That's seen as a direct path to clarity, to mental space. to that state of effortless flow.
Yeah, flow state.
Now, switch gears. Think about aerodynamics, a bird's wing, an airplane. The design is all about simplicity, streamlining. Any extra complexity, that just creates drag, makes it heavier, less efficient. A simple, elegant design flows better through the air. It's literally lighter in performance. Or even something super modern like user interface design. Cleanliness, getting rid of unnecessary stuff. That makes it easier to use. A lighter experience for the person using it. In all these examples, reduction, simplicity. It directly boosts flow and efficiency.
So it really boils down to minimizing resistance, whether that's mental resistance, physical drag, or even like digital friction.
Precisely. And here's where the pattern really shows its fractal nature. Take the command, make it right.
Mm-hmm.
In engineering, okay, that means fixing a bug in code
Mm-hmm.
or adjusting a machine part that's not working properly. It's a clear act of repair.
Mm-hmm.
But then think about relationships. The simple act of saying, I'm sorry, or I apologize. It serves the exact same function, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. Repair.
It's repair. Restoration. Correcting an imbalance. It's the same underlying function, just applied to completely different systems. One mechanical, one emotional. This is what we mean by fractal ethics in action. The fractal part isn't just that the pattern appears everywhere, it's that the process itself repeats. Identifying an issue, taking action, getting to a resolution. That repeats across all scales. Doesn't matter if you're debugging one tiny line of code, or healing a huge rift in a relationship, or even just tweaking a line of poetry that feels off until you nail it. That basic sequence, perception, adjustment, release, it's the same.
Wow. That's an incredible insight. It really makes you stop and think how many of our automatic reactions are based on these deep core patterns. I'm sure, like many of us listening, myself included, we've all felt that immediate push to fix something when it feels wrong. Have you noticed this pattern playing out in your own work? Or maybe in relationships? When something feels off, what's your usual first response? Is it always fix it? Or do you see these other reactions sometimes?
It's interesting you ask that because that default fix-its reaction, it's so powerful. And often it is productive, in the short term. But it can also really limit our options. We might totally miss other ways, maybe more nuanced ways, to deal with the situation.
Right. And that's where really diving deep into this helps. So, okay, what does all this actually mean for how we navigate our daily lives? What we've basically uncovered here is something like a call and response algorithm for interpreting reality. It's the mental software running in the background.
Exactly. And this algorithm, at least in its, let's say, default version, it has two pretty clear steps. Step one, the encounter. You meet something out in the world, an input. Could be something you see as wrong or just different or inspiring or simple. Step two, the response. You react based on that initial mantra we talked about. You fix it, you adjust it, you thank it, or you lighten things up. It's a very neat, almost mechanical way our minds process these inputs based on this default program.
Okay, but here's where the real potential for change comes in, because we can actually upgrade this algorithm. Think about that original principle again. If it's wrong, make it right. If it's different, make it right. If it's inspiring, thank it. If it's simple, make life lighter. Okay? Now, what if we swapped that out, updated it to this refined version? What if our new default became, if it's wrong, make it whole. If it's different, honor the change. If it causes harm, offer healing. If it sparks awe, offer thanks. If it's simple, let it stay light.
Can you just feel the difference there? It's a profound shift, isn't it?
It really is.
We move from just correction to actual integration, from trying to just fix something, maybe force it into a box, to honoring its uniqueness, recognizing its value just as it is. Instead of making everything fit one single idea of right, this updated algorithm helps us, celebrate what makes things unique. Diverse. And this isn't just, abstract philosophy. This is a practical, usable operating principle for being.
An operating principle for being.
It's like a compass, a really versatile one. Works if you're designing a product or navigating a tough conversation or just trying to understand yourself and your own reactions better. It shifts us away from being purely reactive, purely corrective, towards something more proactive, more integrative, and ultimately, I think, more compassionate in how we engage with the world. It helps us see that wrong isn't always about an error. Sometimes it's about a lack of wholeness, maybe.
That's a really powerful way to reframe it. Think about maybe a recent conflict or challenge you had, a disagreement at work maybe, or a personal frustration. How might using this updated algorithm, this different approach, change how you respond? It really challenges that immediate must fix this now impulse, doesn't it? So, okay, how do you actually use this day to day? Let me give you maybe 3 concrete ways you could apply this updated algorithm. First one,
Relationships. This is a biggie. I'll admit, my partner loads the dishwasher in a way that drives me crazy. It seems so inefficient to me. My first thought is always, how can I fix this? Teach them the right way. But this new algorithm suggests a different question. Instead of trying to fix your partner's different way of doing things, dishwasher, time management, handling emotions, whatever, ask yourself, how can I honor this difference? Try to understand its logic maybe, while also addressing any actual problems it might be causing. It's about respect for uniqueness, not forcing conformity.
That respect piece is key.
Yeah. Second application, creative work. When you're making something, writing, designing, building, and it's just not clicking, it feels off. Your first instinct is often, how do I fix this broken part? Okay, instead, try shifting that. Ask, what is this trying to become? How can I help it be more itself? Does it just need refining? Or maybe I need to honor it as a distinct creative choice. It moves you from forcing a solution to, like, fostering emergence, discovery.
Letting it unfold rather than imposing.
Exactly. And third, personal growth. When you find something you don't like about yourself, a habit, a quirk, maybe a past mistake, our usual reaction is often to try and eliminate it, just make it go away. But this updated algorithm, it suggests practicing integration instead. Don't just try to cut it out. Ask, how can I make this whole, how can I understand where it came from, maybe its purpose, and integrate it into a healthier, more complete version of me, rather than just trying to kill it off. It's about accepting all the parts, even the ones that seem wrong, and finding a path towards wholeness.
And I think the really profound understanding this whole pattern points to is that not everything that looks wrong or feels wrong actually needs to be fixed. Not in the way we usually think of fixing. Sometimes what we see as wrong just needs to be understood. Maybe it's a difference we haven't learned to appreciate yet. Sometimes it needs to be honored, recognized for its own unique place or purpose. And yes, other times it might need transformation, but maybe not eradication, not being forced into some other shape, but guided towards its own most authentic whole expression.
That lands really powerfully. So if this deep dive resonated with you, if this sparked something, we'd love to hear about it. And here's a little homework for you, if you're up for it. Pick one situation this coming week, something where you've been trying to make it right. Could be a habit, a conflict, how you react to surprises, anything. And just try experimenting with this new algorithm instead. Ask yourself those questions. How can I make this whole? Honor its difference. Offer healing. Offer thanks. Or just let it stay light. Yeah, just see what happens when you consciously shift your approach like that. And hey, if you want more deep dives like this, exploring these hidden patterns that shape our lives, please subscribe. We're building a community of pattern seekers here, and every sub helps us keep digging deeper. Oh, and share this with someone you know who loves to ask why all the time. They'll probably appreciate the brain food. So here's the core takeaway for today. You have an algorithm running in your mind right now. It's been shaped by culture, your experiences, your biology. But like any software, algorithms can be updated. So the real question is, what version do you want to be running? Until next time, keep questioning, keep integrating. And remember this final thought. Not everything needs to be fixed. Sometimes it just needs to be seen.